Today I will talk about business trip and B2B long tail payments, how they are being transformed. Okay, so of course the agenda for today, a few words about BBVA, a little bit of background on business trip and B2B long tail payments, what we mean by that, and then how COVID-19 is impacting them. And as you mentioned before, we will have a few minutes later on for the Q&A. So about BBVA, our purpose is to bring the age of opportunity to everyone. We are a global bank with presence in 30 countries, more than 7,000 branches, 126,000 employees. For the last few years, we have been very focused on customers and digital sales. And you can see that we have more than 78 million customers, and almost half of them, they are already digital ones. Financial highlights on the right-hand side, and also a new area of focus is the sustainable development and direct contribution to society. So let's get into the business trip and B2B long tail payments. So what we mean by business trip, that was not big surprise. When you have a business trip, then you have to pay for your flight, your luggage, your taxi, car rental, gasoline, cash, ATM, restaurants. And unfortunately, if you get sick, you will have to pay for your medical expenses, right? For the B2B payments and long-tail suppliers, this is a little bit newer. When you have small payments like for office suppliers or fixes or courier or small invoices, or when you organize an event in a remote place where you are not going to organize any more events there, you run into some trouble to pay your suppliers, right? I mean, how do I pay them? I don't want to use the whole procurement process in order to pay them. I want to have something convenient. So for these two types of payments, preferred options are either cash or consumer cards, or commercial cards like enterprise cards like T&E. Let's have a look into the pros and cons on each one. So when you have cash, then it's your own cash or a cash advance from the company. Of course, the liability is individual. You don't have a card, so there's no contactless there. You will have to pay with cash. Fees, typically they are more expensive, especially if you are in a different country and you have to change currency. No credit limit, no insurance, and the data will be all manual. You will have to once you are back in the office, you will have to enter everything manually. So here the driver for the companies is, I have a limited trust on an employee, or maybe it's an infrequent travelers. Then the second option is a consumer card. So here some employees will say, okay, I don't want to use cash. I rather use my individual card, and then I will use the contactless, which is convenient, and especially now with the COVID. Fees will be a little bit cheaper, but anyway, it will be paid by the company. Credit limit, it will vary depending on the cardholder's credit line or credit history. Insurance in most cases won't be included. And then the data, it will be a little bit better than cash, but won't be much better. At least you will have a receipt from the POS. So here again, the driver for the companies are the same one, limited trust on employees and infrequent travelers. When we move into the commercial cards, then we have the T&E, the corporate and business card. So here, the first big change is the liability. It will be covered by the company, or it will be a joint and several shared by both. Of course, we will have the contactless. Then the fees, it will be cheaper for the company. Then the credit limit, it can be adjusted to the needs of the cardholder or the trip. The insurance will be in most cases included. And then the data, they will have the opportunity to have all the data being sent to the expense submission and approval tool they have chosen. So it will be much better. So here the driver for the companies is frequent travelers and also social status. If I want to give a proper payment system to my C-suite employees. And then finally, we have the virtual card, which covers the functionalities of the T&E, but also the infrequent travelers and the one-off payments, because you will be able to issue a virtual card, and then adjusted everything, and even have more information because I will be able to associate this card to a particular project. So let's have a look into this, which might be a little bit newer for some of the attendees. So basically, a virtual card is a plastic card without plastic, right? So everything is more convenient. For infrequent travelers, the company administrator will log in into the electronic banking, will request the card for the cardholder. He will receive it immediately. He will do the purchase using e-commerce, and then once he is back in the office, then he will justify the expenses. So big advantage here is the card distribution. Plastic one is around 1 week, so here is online, and then the risk control for the company. You won't have unused credit line, and then you can create on-the-go cards or one-time of cards. Then the other option is for, as we were mentioning before, for the B2B or infrequent suppliers. You could send the typical account payable file with wires, transfers, things like that, and also the request to issue a virtual card for a particular for one supplier. Then we will receive all the information, we will generate the virtual card, and then we will send it to the supplier. Then the supplier will use the virtual card in their existing POS, either e-commerce or the physical one, and then we'll get the money paid quickly and fast and in a very convenient way instead of using wires or SWIFT or IBAN numbers and requests. Okay. So that was from a local perspective, just for one country. However, when you have global commercial card solutions, then the benefits are even bigger for all the stakeholders in the company. So the card program manager will have access to all the data, all the expenses, but here the key is that it will be in a homogeneous, global, regional, and local view, right? The CFO and the financial managers, they will get, again, all the expenses reconciliated, and this is not good for us, for the issuers, but this is reality. The financial conditions, they will be more competitive. It's not the same to have one company or several companies in one country than to have several companies in several countries, right? Then for the procurement and travel managers, they will have all the real information on where they are spending the data, and then they will be able to negotiate corporate rates with the hotels or with airlines. Finally, for compliance and human resources, it's very easy to detect or to early notice non-compliant transactions or spending pattern exceptions. And also, last but not least, for IT, they will have all the information integrated in their system, right? So let's have a look into COVID now that you have a general knowledge of the commercial cards ecosystem. So before that, we were expecting a global market growth in BBVA footprint in LAC and Europe, also in the States, around 14% year over year. And it was going to come mostly from the substitution of cash and also capturing the long tail B2B payments. SME, commercial, large corporation, and multinational, they have a big focus on full and homogeneous products. I mean, they wanted to move from one T&E card for everything to have more specialized solutions for its need. And there was also a big demand for centralized servicing and implementation team, and likewise for the data feed to the expense submission and approval tools like SAP Concur or Mobile Expense, Certify, Expensia, and tools like that. Also, very interested in DIY. I don't want to have to get in touch with my RM or my transactional banker for requesting cards, something like that. I want to use my the DIY tools like electronic banking. Regarding products, there was interest, but just interest in solutions for infrequent travelers or B2B payments, also for VAT refund. Here in Europe, you can get the VAT refund when you travel abroad. So this could be also a cost-saving service. And then finally, they were okay with alternative platforms and fintechs and doing friends and families. That was not an issue. That was something that they were a little bit interested on. However, the COVID came into our lives, and what we have seen, especially in the commercial card segment, the purchase volume has plunged in Q2. Unfortunately, is in a similar situation in Q3. We will expect a slow recovery in Q4, and depending on how the COVID is evolving, it should get a little bit better in Q1. But this is going to be here with us for quite some time, it seems. Regarding the products, now we see a big concern on companies, those ones that they were requesting their employees to pay with cash or with their consumer cards. Now they are really concerned because the employees might not be in their best situation to pay in advance for the company expenses, and also the employees, they have some concerns on when they are going to get their expenses reimbursed. So therefore, that brought us to a new demand for commercial cards and also for data feeds to the expense submission and approval tools. So this is really growing a lot, because now they have noticed that it's the time to do something. Just imagine that you have done a trip and then you have your tickets with you. Should I send it to my PA home or to the office where there's nobody there who is going to do all the manual work if I don't have an expense submission in the Word or Excel or Drive in order to justify all those tickets, right? I mean, you need to do something there and to automate all that. Increases demand also for DIY. And then finally, also for products, then all companies more or less, they came back to us saying like, oh, by the way, our corporate cards, do they have contactless? And the answer was yes. Oh, that's good. And also requesting more information about virtual cards and how they can be used in the wallets and things like that, right? And then the last key topic now is insurance. As I mentioned before, commercial cars, they typically have insurance included, and but companies were not really interested on that, or was something like, yes, I want to know that I have it, but they didn't really read the terms and conditions. So now there is a big interest on knowing what is covered, what is not. And here my recommendation is that there is no a general answer whether something is covered or not. Is that you should get in touch with your car issuance or with your insurance company, and then before you do the booking, before you do the trip, get a better understanding on what is covered and what is not, in order not to have any issues while you are already on your business trip. So that was the content that I had for today. I'm open for Q&A questions.